sound, just that weight in my gut, that told me this wasn't a prank or a mistake. This was planted hidden and it wasn't meant to be found. Not by anyone except Shadow did I slid the envelope back into place and shut the door, locking it quietly. I didn't report it. Not yet. You learn a thing or two after 2 decades in uniform. Never show your hand too early, especially not when you're not sure who you can trust. I walked back to my office with Shadow on a short leash. He was still keyed up, ears twitching, tail stiff. Whatever Mercer was, Shadow hadn't misread him. Not for a second that same morning. My buddy from Internal Affairs texted me. Weird flag on Mercer, call me. I stepped outside and dialed you. Sitting down, he asked, should I be the badge number Mercer's using? It's valid, but it belongs to a guy who died 3 years ago. Car crash, Arlington. I didn't say anything. It gets weirder. He continued. The death was ruled accidental, but there was no funeral. No next of kin listed. The files thin, like someone scrubbed it clean. Was the guy's name Ray Mercer? Nope. Mark Dillard. Now my skin crawled. I asked him to email me everything he could dig up discreetly. We hung up, and I sat in my truck, staring out at the rain-damp asphalt of the staff lot. A few officers walked in, nodding. Good morning. I nodded back. Mercer came in last, coffee in one hand, duffel bag over his shoulder. He smiled like nothing in the world was out of place. But I saw it now, the way his eyes scanned each face too carefully. How he walked just a beat behind everyone else, like he was watching, not belonging. I followed him inside, just far enough back to not draw attention. Shadow growled once, low in his throat. I gave the leash a soft tug. Not yet, boy. The next 48 hours were hell. I dug through every report Mercer had touched since transferring in. Most were routine evidence, check-ins, shift logs, a few ride-along reports. But one thing stood out. He'd accessed restricted data on an ongoing narcotics case, a case he wasn't assigned to the system. Logged everything, and sure enough, Mercer had pulled the sealed files on the Sanchez operation, the one that took down half a cartel distribution cell last year. Those files contained the names of informants. I felt my stomach drop. I printed the access logs and filed them under a new folder locked in my desk drawer. I wasn't sure who else knew about this yet, or who might be helping him. That's what scared me most. I needed proof, something undeniable. That's when Shadow gave it to me late that night. I stayed behind to catch up on paperwork. The building was mostly empty, just one rookie in dispatch, a janitor vacuuming by the front. I took Shadow and walked the perimeter just like we always did on quiet nights, except this time I let Shadow take the lead. He went straight to the locker room inside. The air was heavy with disinfectant and damp uniforms. Rows of metal lockers lined both sides. Shadow stopped in front of Mercer's, sat, then looked back at me. I hesitated. Technically opening another officer's locker without cause would raise eyebrows, but I had cause. I just couldn't prove it yet, so I used Shadow. I tugged the leash, gently search. He didn't hesitate. He barked once and began pawing at Mercer's locker door. That was enough. I popped it open with the master key and stared. Inside was a second uniform, a burner phone taped to the back wall, and a flash drive marked with a date 3 months before Mercer ever showed up at our precinct. Tucked inside the breast pocket of the uniform was something else. A folded print out of our floor plan with 2 rooms circled in red ink. The evidence locker and the server room. I snapped photos of everything, careful not to disturb anything I didn't have to. Then I closed the locker, locked it, and left. My heart was pounding. Shadow. And I sat in the truck out back watching the side entrance. I didn't go home that night, around 2:17 a.m. The door opened. Mercer slipped out, dressed in plain clothes. No uniform, no badge. Shadow, set up, ears alert. I watched as Mercer walked briskly to his vehicle, opened the trunk and pulled out a hard plastic case. He scanned the lot, then moved quickly toward the building's back entrance, toward the server room. Let's go, I whispered, and Shadow and I followed just far enough to keep out of sight. I radioed in. Then I quietly unhooked Shadow's leash and said the words I'd only ever used in field operations. Take him. The sound of paws on wet pavement was the only thing louder than my heartbeat. Shadow shot ahead like a missile. Silent, focused the moment I gave the command. He moved without hesitation. That was the thing about him. No fear, no questions, just instinct and training wrapped in black fur and muscle. I trailed behind, sticking to the shadows of the building as Mercer approached the server room entrance. He didn't have his badge out, didn't use his key card. Instead, he reached into his jacket and pulled out a small black device about the size of a garage opener. That's when I knew this wasn't some misunderstanding. This was a takedown I